Hello guys, we're back, and while we're in the office, I'm going to make a whole bunch of other videos, because, once again, I haven't got YouTube, so I'm bored. How do I make a time-lapse video? One person has asked me, so I'm going to tell him, and anybody else who was going to ask me in the future. A time-lapse video, as such, or from what I could read about it, was just a load of pictures taken of the stuff from the same place. And on this one here, this is, I think, the most recent bit of time lapse I'm doing. I have a GoPro. You can use other cameras, anything with a time lapse function, but GoPros have a time lapse function and it can sit outside in the rain quite happily. I put the time lapse function on, I set it to half a minute, so 30 seconds, and I plug it in because obviously the GoPro batteries don't last very long. And I mount it here and it takes a picture every 30 seconds. So every day, before I actually start doing any work, I climb up this ladder, I mount the GoPro, I check it with my phone so it's looking in the right place, I click the button, and all day it takes pictures. And you end up with 120 pictures an hour. So however long you've been working for, you'll get a ratio of that many pictures. So you get all these pictures, and then I take them off the camera, and I put them onto a hard drive. I actually put them onto my static state drive, but that's not the point. I get them off the camera and onto another storage device, and I have 2 copies of all this data for quite a while. Because I did have, at the very beginning of me doing this and making other videos and stuff, a video file got corrupted. And you can't get them back, especially not in this sort of, the whole idea of this being the story from part A to part B. If I've already taken a bit of wall down and I lose the footage, there's no putting it back up and doing it again. It just can't happen. So I am quite conscious of making sure I've got a copy safe somewhere. And it corrupted while I was taking it off the camera. So I've been quite conscious of that since. Either way, we say I've got 500 pictures. It's about 2 gigs ish of memory, somewhere around that mark. It's a lot of memory to move about, and it does take time. It takes a while. It doesn't matter what cables you're running down. I'm running it through a Thunderbolt cable. It'll do 10 gigabytes a second. The static state drive will write incredibly fast. It's the fastest one I could find to actually write data onto it, and it still takes quite a while to get the information from the camera, especially 2 gigs of information stored onto another device. Either way, I do that. It takes a while. I put them on the static state drive, and then from the static state drive, or the hard drive, whatever you want to call it, I drag them into iMovie. I literally grab all the pictures, drag them onto here. This is the timeline. I'll have a create new, usually a new event, which is here somewhere. It makes one of these things. An event. This is an event. It has either movies in them and other files and reference stuff in there. I'll make a new event for it. It'll be time-lapse of a date or time-lapse whip or something work in progress. And I'll drag them in here. And by default, they come in with a Ken Burn setting, which I can't work out. You can change it, actually. By default, they come in with a Ken Burns, which means they come, go from there to there. They zoom, or I think they're possibly called tweening or something. I don't know. But they do that by default, and they've got a length of 4 seconds. So, once you're in it, click on it, select all, make it show it is just fit, so I'll get the whole picture. And then information, change that to 0.1 seconds. So there's 10 frames a second in this here picture. Then without even looking through the photos or the files or anything like that, I export this. Because it is horrible to have 500 different little files open in this. It just makes your computer work harder, especially with QuickTime running now. It's not enjoying this. So I export it. Share file. Share the file to where I keep my files in movies, believe it or not. And it goes to there. And I sit here and wait for that to happen, because it does take quite a while to do anything with this many different files, photos, whatever. Right, then I've got a useful bit of footage. It's only, 500 meg in size or whatever, but it's, it's manageable. So from that, I'll put it into something like the big time lapse, which is what I'm doing on my time-lapsing at the moment. But for example, the other time-lapses, have we got another time-lapse here? Last few slates, must have it. There we go. Last few slates had this. Now, ignoring the music, this is the file I would have just exported. So it's literally just the pictures going in timeline. 10 frames a second still isn't quite fast enough for me, I don't think. So I speed them up. I select this file, and once I've got this safe, I can delete a whole load of other stuff. I can delete the photos of the camera. I can delete the original photos I uploaded into here. So all I need is them safely stored on the static state drive. So that frees up a lot of space and memory and everything. It's brilliant. So then, we mess about with this. We speed up with the speed tool here. Just set to fast, or you can put in custom and put a higher amount there. Or you can just drag this little slider around once it's there, and that will make them faster or slower. But that's about it, really. That gets you the time lapse. Lots of photos, lots of waiting for files to move about, and you get a photo. Now, I put music to them sometimes, and all the music I use, I get from a website called Incomtech. Maybe I'll... hang on, turn that back down again. I'll leave a link to the description, and that is royalty-free music. There are a lot of YouTube videos that use famous songs, like really good songs, and I don't know how many people... A lot of them have got to be illegal. They can't all be paying the right royalties. I don't know how the royalties work, but I found the best way to avoid it is just not use anything, to only use royalty-free music. And it's made by a person called Kevin MacLeod, generally, like the person off Grand Design. And he just makes music, and he uploads it, and he says, yeah, go for it, guys. Use it. You don't even have to say who I am. Just have some free stuff, which is brilliant. So I use his music, and they're nice little tunes. And then on the end of that, I add my outro, which is just a little thing, remind you of the brand and who I was. And this has changed recently. I changed this again. I changed the colour of my skin to start with because I'm not that dark. And, well, I did a whole load to this later. And it also has my little outro tune. I like the little outro tune. For 8 seconds of music, I like it. I think it's good. Whoa, turn it off now. And we stick the intro on, which I've just made the new intro, but it's a little video file I keep of my intro. So that gets slapped on the end, time-lapse bit in the middle, outro gets slapped on the end. Job done. So yeah, if you wanted to know how I make a time-lapse video, that's how I do it on iMovie on a Mac. Yeah, bye.